Okay, cool. Okay, so this is gonna be just a really quick stream. God, I haven't written an analysis since like chapter 414. Shit. Yeah, I haven't written like a proper analysis for these chapters since chapter 414. Like 415 and 416, I don't have an analysis. Well, most of it is like stuff I've done here, you know. Is that this side? It is. Ugh. Okay. You know what? I don't feel like fixing it. Yeah, this is what I'll do. Boom. Boom. I don't have to fix anything. I don't gotta fix shit. Uh yeah, so the reason things are a little bit hectic, IRL, tomorrow I'm not gonna be able to stream when the chapter comes out. So we're gonna make the thumbnail right now, but I'm not gonna be able to stream when the chapter comes out tomorrow. I'm going to stream like at 1 o'clock or 12:30. So you guys will have read the chapter ahead of me. Please understand. I'm not gonna be like on Twitter. Maybe don't talk about the chapter, or you know what? I'm just not gonna check anything. You guys can do whatever the heck you want. I'm just not gonna check anything until the chapter comes out. Like if I'm at work tomorrow and I have some free time, I'm not going on like Twitter. I'm just gonna go to like Netflix and watch One Piece. I don't care if the next chapter sparks any drama. I will tell you ahead of time that one sec, I'm pulling this up. I will tell you ahead of time that I am a tad bit spoiled from two different sources. One of them was on Discord. It was not intended. They just kind of posted with the spoilers block, so it blocks the text, but they didn't say it was the spoilers. So I was curious, so I clicked on it, and it was like literally the first sentence is a spoiler, and I'm just like, what the? So I made an entire. I'll just pull it up. So on Discord now, just for you guys who they're new here, we have a brand new channel now. We have a spoilers enter at your own risks channel. Okay. I muted this channel, so it does not update me. I don't know. I will check it tomorrow. Once we stream and I've read the chapter, I will check it. But right now I don't know anything about it. And then the other person that spoiled me, I felt this one was intentional, so I deleted the comment. This was on YouTube, and the person just like blatantly said like what the teaser was about for last time, and that just kind of pissed me off. I'm just like, okay, just straight up post spoilers, I guess. So I just deleted the comment. I don't care if the rest of it wasn't spoilers. Just you probably know who you are. You'll probably go look for your comment from last stream or the stream before that or something, and it's not going to be there. Just know I don't take kindly to spoilers. I removed your comment because I didn't like that. But in the future, like if you post that, I might just like give you like a 3-day ban or something. Okay, so kindly again, I don't care in what way, form, or anything. You don't post spoilers, please and thank you. I don't care. Okay, I don't care if it's like a big spoiler, or small spoiler, or anything. It's an insult to the author, and I don't give a shit. Anyways, let's make the thumbnail for tomorrow. So this thumbnail for tomorrow is steamed buns, but we said that we found out that you can't get these in the summer hot. They're always going. They sell them like frozen, or summer or spring. They sell them like frozen. So let's get. Where does mommy eat something hot? She does drink something hot. She does drink something hot. So let's go find that. Perfect. There we go. This is a good start. This is a good start. Okay. Oh yeah, there is one other thing. Let me pull it up. Okay, so there's actually 4 more things. So we have to read the two serious Reddit posts, or the serious Reddit discussions. I won't read everything just because I'm not in the mood. but we do have to read those, and then we also have to read one of Mute's posts for chapter 415 because we never read that, but that's easy. That takes like 2 fucking seconds. And then I found this really good video that it isn't about Rent-A-Girlfriend. It's not about Rent-A-Girlfriend. You're not going to find good videos about Rent-A-Girlfriend. Let's just get that out of the way. That's not a thing that happens. People don't honestly discuss this series in like honest, with good faith. They don't discuss this series with good faith. That's not happening. If you can find me a video that will actually discuss this in good faith and actually be meaningful and not a waste of my time, okay, man, respect. But it is so low. It is such a low common denominator. I'm just not expecting it. However, I found this really good video about Resident Evil 9 that like discusses something I realized Reiji is discussing, and I think we should watch it. I've played Resident Evil 9 on stream. You guys have seen me play this game on stream. So I think this is a good video to watch as a parallel to our own particular journey. So here's the video. So this guy kind of cooks. I don't know why I'm not subscribed to him. This guy kind of cooks. Like I've liked a lot of his videos. But this is the video. This is Trauma. Here let's like listen to the beginning. Just the intro of it. But holy shit, this man like cooked, and I think the stuff he talks about is incredibly relevant to our current stuff. I still haven't finished this video, unfortunately.
It takes is one spark.
Okay.
Unlike other forms of...
Oh shit! Did I not put the new thumbnail? Fuck. I just saw this right here. That means I have the old thumbnail on this thing. Ugh. It is. I fucking knew it. Okay. Give me a sec. I'm gonna fix the stupid thumbnail. Because I'm an idiot. I'm using an old thumbnail. Why did nobody say anything? Why did nobody say anything that I was using the old thumbnail? Oops. Okay, save. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna just reload to see if it gives me the new thumbnail.
Is one spark.
Oh look, the thumbnail's updated. Cool. So yeah, let's just like watch the very beginning.
Unlike other forms of psychological disorders, the core issue in trauma is reality.
What is Kazuya doing? What can Kazuya not cope with? What is the one thing Kazuya literally cannot fucking cope with? Reality. His eyes are literally he literally needs to open his eyes. He literally can't cope with reality. Like, so much of the story is literally him, like, not processing what the fuck is happening to him. He literally disassociates constantly. He gets sexually assaulted, disassociates from that, and it's literally constantly haunting him. He can't come to terms with the reality that him being separated from Chizuru is actually really bad. Even though deep down he knows it's not good. And the list goes on and on and on and on and on. Mommy's another one of those realities for him. Okay? So, yeah, no, like this video already, oh shit. And this dude's basing this off of like an actual like book that he read. You know? Like I have not read this book, so I'm not gonna just like pretend like I know these things, but like, damn. This shit good. And this guy makes really good videos. This game makes some really interesting videos. I've been meaning to watch more of them. I didn't get to finish this one, unfortunately. I don't know if I should finish it with you guys or something else. But this would be like last on the list. I'd like to go through Twitter and Reddit really quick, and then eventually get to this. I'm not gonna stream for super long, because tomorrow I gotta get up early. So unfortunately, we're not streaming for super duper long. Question. Should I just zoom in on mommy's face here? Or should I keep it like this? Should I zoom in on mommy's face or should I keep it like this? So let's make a comparison, I guess. Well, there's nothing else I can fit in there. Would be cool if we got a CW prequel style thumbnail for stream. CW? What? CW or SW? SW? I don't know what that's like. You're gonna have to give me an example. I don't even know what you're referring to. Star Wars? Star Wars prequel style? I don't even remember what the fucking Star Wars prequels look like. They're posters. Star Wars Phantom Menace poster. Oh, so like the most generic thing in the fucking universe. So the thing everybody and their mother does now, you mean? So literally everybody and their mother does this kind of shit now. That's what you mean, or do you have like a specific one in mind? Because if you want me to do an art style like this, you're out of your goddamn mind. I can't do that. Fuck, what were the other ones called? Phantom Menace, episode 2. I'll just read episode 2. Oh, isn't it Clone Wars? Okay, I can't even write episode. Episode 2. This is like what modern movie posters want to be and fail to be. This is kind of what this is kind of what this looks like to me. This is what modern movie posters want to be and ultimately fail to be. These actually look really cool. Fuck. I take it back. These look really fucking cool. I take it back. These actually look pretty fucking cool. But it's in large part due to the art style. This isn't this is like someone painted this. This is like this is an artist. Like an artist made this, and I had a neighbor who was like a professional artist and like shared this stuff with me. So yeah, no, the reason this fucking rocks is that it's not just CGI copy edit bullshit. Somebody fucking drew this. Yeah, look at this. Oh my Christ. Yeah, someone fucking painted this shit. Someone fucking painted this shit. Ayo, no. Okay, these are actually peak. These are actually peak as fuck. I take it back. These are peak as fuck. But that's because an artist was behind this. It wasn't just a fucking stupid movie poster where they just did shit. Like this is actually someone drew this. Anyways, I have no idea how I'd even begin to make that. I have no idea how I'd even begin to make something like this. That's like so fucking complicated. Fuck. Okay. Wait, what the fuck? Where'd the thing go? Wait, it's over here still? That's annoying. It's like its own separate thing. Oh, that's annoying. Okay, we gotta make it normal. No, make it normal. That does look kind of cool. Okay, and then maybe I can put something here. Let's see if I can fit anything in there. I could try to go for like a weird duality thing. Okay, not a good idea. Move it here first. Let's move you here first. Okay, and then we'll have a different one on this end. Maybe this. Okay, and then I just gotta make that smaller. And then I gotta fix this. I gotta fix this. The hair is leaking. This is not bad. This is okay. Have the Hawaiians fight with Chizuru on the other side. Okay, maybe I can try that. Let me see that. Do. That's chapter 229, I think. It is. No, not that one. I don't like this one. No. Let's go to 230. I think I know which one to think. Yeah, I know which one to pick. It's the one where Chizuru calls her out about her feelings. Yeah, this makes more sense. But it's kind of... it doesn't fit quite right. No. Maybe the past one did work? Okay. This is gonna bug me. I gotta fix this mommy thing. Sorry. This is gonna bug me. How do I adjust it? Ugh, fucking hell. Okay, do this the hard way. Do it the hard way. Okay. That wasn't that hard. That was not that hard. Do it the hard way is super fucking easy. That does kind of work. Yeah, that kind of works. It's very different. This is more cinematic than I usually make them. Okay, what are we thinking? Hey, no, Wiz, you're the one who spoiled shit in my fucking chat. I deleted your goddamn comment because you spoiled me in the goddamn chat. I'm warning you right now. You do that again, I will ban you for 3 days. You do that another time, I'm just gonna ban you, dude. You put a fucking spoiler in my fucking comment section, dude. Not cool. Not cool. Okay? I that's not okay, man. Don't do that again. What I spoil, I'm not going to tell you what you spoiled. I'm going to tell you tomorrow because I don't want to spoil it for other people. You know what you wrote. I can tell you tomorrow. You're free to ask tomorrow, but I'm not saying it here because I don't want to tell everyone else. I don't want everyone else to get spoiled. Should I adjust that a little bit? Maybe I could. Damn it. That's what I was afraid of. Okay, let's... Okay, that's... damn it. Okay. That's good. That'll do the trick. That's okay. Damn it, it's a little... Whatever. It's okay for it to be a little faded. I'll just go with this. This is fine. Everything is awesome. Everything is cool when you're part of a team. Okay, so can we agree this is a good thumbnail? Is this a good thumbnail? Can we agree this is a good thumbnail? I feel like this is a good thumbnail. Pretty solid thumbnail. This is like the thumbnail I would make for when I do like the deep mommy discussion video. This is the kind of thumbnail I'd make. The next stream is supposed to be the big mommy stream. That's what this is. That's what it looks like. That's what it fucking looks like. This is the big mommy stream. We're gonna talk about mommy right now. Like this is the kind of stream I would make, you know, or stream thumbnail I'd make when a video thumbnail. This is when I make it up. This is what the mommy video would look like. This is what mommy video would look like. Okay. For 17, make the folder thumb1. That's how I name them. Thumb1. Okay. This is nice. Why, thank you. Okay. So next stream. Oh, I usually put the thing here. You know what? This time I'll pass. So I usually put the here, one sec. I'm trying to fix something. Fuck. No, yamero. Yamete. Okay, so usually I put a little the teaser for next time here. However, I did not do that. We can try, but I don't think it would work. We can try putting it, but I don't think it would work. I don't know if I should put it here. I don't think this would work. I could try putting that. I don't know if it would work. Yeah, I'm gonna just leave it as it is. You know, we're gonna make a slightly different thumbnail. I'm gonna just leave it as it is. I feel like if I change it, I would ruin it. So I'm gonna just leave it as it is. Let's see. Create, go live. I'll put it in the stream title. So we said that next time is steamed buns, but but you can only get them cold, which we also pointed out is kind of exactly like a tsundere, which mommy's definitely falling in line with at the moment. Because mommy is literally like a tsundere right now. She literally was cold at first and now she's hot. Get it? I even talked about this in last stream, where, you know, the whole thing of a tsundere is tsun dere dere, aka cold, hot, hot. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. I gotta double check. Here, let's look it up. Let's look it up. Let's prove me wrong or right in real time. Prove me wrong or right in real time. Tsun dere dere. Is a combination of the words tsun and onomatopoeia for turning away, to turn on one's back on someone, to ignore someone, or to refuse to accept. So cold, which describes the attitude that someone is aloof, distant, cold. There you go. And stand back high. Here, let's just go to the actual wiki. There it is. Okay. Oh my God, there's so much crap on here. Just Jesus Christ. This is what happens when Google is idiotic and removes ad block. Okay, attitude that is aloof, distant, cold, standoffish, and high and mighty. And dere dere is a mimetic word for being love-struck, which describes an attitude that is cute, having the qualities of attraction, affection, overly affectionate, extremely and uncritically fond of someone, and desires a lot of close contact and spoiled with affection. So cold then hot, like a tsundere. Cold then hot. Now tsunderes are just hot. It's not that I like you. It's not like that I like you, Baka. Yeah, pretty much. But like modern tsunderes aren't really tsunderes. Like I'm gonna just say that, like, modern tsunderes are not tsunderes. They're a caricature of a tsundere. Do you guys know what I mean when I say that? A tsundere was was a character that like it's a character arc. A tsundere is a character arc, not a trope. It was just labeled as a trope and became a joke in the sphere, right? But the original tsundere was like a full blown character arc. You know, even like Rin Tosaka, Rin Tosucker, even Rin Tosucker herself, it had a character arc. You know, Rin at first is really fucking cold. And in the anime, they kind of dial up the dere element of her character, where she immediately like feels affection towards Shiro in certain aspects. Whereas like the way the anime handles her in Heaven's Feel is so much more accurate to Rin, where she's so much more shut off. Rin is really shut off at first, like super hard, to the point that she comes off as almost callous. But you guys, like when you watch like Unlimited Blade Works, like Rin is just such a dere, like just dere nonstop, super love struck. Oh my god! But Rin is supposed to be like a lot hard, like a lot more hardened. You know, so a lot of those character arcs, like even Asuka Langley is another great example of like the actual journey of a character where she's really, really cold at first, and then she becomes a lot more like closer to the person. Like when you first meet Asuka, she's kind of a jerk, dude. Asuka's at first is kind of a dick, you know, and she still kind of retains that element of being a dick and really shut off. But she starts like opening up and being like desiring love and affection. I would argue that this trope fits really well with Mami's character. Whereas Chizuru is seemingly breaking out of the trope. You know, I think Chizuru isn't a tsundere, but she is a character that was in many ways trapped by a trope that does not actually define her character. The trope, the tsundere element of Chizuru's character is literally more of a coping mechanism than it is actually being Chizuru. You know, it was more of a coping mechanism for her, and she freed herself from this coping mechanism. Whereas Kazuya's like coping mechanism is like the in some ways his own protagonist role. So I would argue that Mami is more of a like accurate tsundere, where at first she's really fucking cold. You know, she like the real her underneath the facade of the nice person is actually a very cold person. But then she's actually incredibly affectionate and kind of love struck, and she kind of aligns really well with that trope. So I think Mami and Chizuru being kind of parallels here, like, you know, two sides of the same coin, is definitely going to be relevant. What else? Kurosu's right here from Steins Gate. Kurosu Mikasa is getting spoiled by Rentaro Okaba and demonstrating a dere form in Steins Gate, darling. I mean, Chizuru does want to be spoiled, so it makes some sense. And we've already said Chizuru is kind of the Kurosu in the picture. You know, so it makes some sense. I've actually never... I own, like, an old copy of Steins Gate on PC. Like, it's a fucking disc. Anyways, we're getting distracted. So I made this, Where to Grow Friend, chapter 417. Okay, so I'm pretty much right. I'm not, like, on the mark. Like, Sun is literally an onomatopoeia of like turning away, right? And then dere is someone being love struck. But that aligns with what I was saying, which is cold, hot, right? It's or just cold and hot. You know, that's the journey of the tsundere, cold and hot. Where to Go from chapter 417, steamed buns. Steamed buns. You know what? I'm gonna just put steamed buns. There we go. Reaction. Okay. I would argue my thumbnail game is getting a little bit more creative. You know, I feel like I was kind of stagnating a little bit before. I feel like I'm getting a little better now. I haven't really been editing all that much either, so that's something I definitely got to work on. I've been definitely falling off my game. That is for sure. I've been definitely falling off my game. I haven't like had time to edit or do any of the things I want to. Things have been kind of all over the place. Remember, kids, it takes about 2 weeks to form a habit. And it can be just as quick to lose one if you are not careful. Okay. So it's going to be tomorrow at maybe 1 p.m. I scheduled it for 1 p.m. I might start sooner. So as soon as it around 12:30, just be vigilant. Just around 12:30, be vigilant. But we'll have to see. God, watch them not need me again. That would piss me the fuck off. I would get so fucking pissed. They need me to come in for like a very particular thing that has been canceled and moved like 3 times. It's been moved like 3 times. What the fuck? Whoa. Oh, okay, we're good. So like, I'm going in for this thing, and I swear to God, if it gets canceled again, I'm gonna be so fucking mad. If it gets fucking canceled again, I'm gonna be livid, dude. I'm gonna be so fucking mad. Like, I couldn't stream the time I wanted to, and that shit gets moved again. Next time, 12:30 Eastern or Pacific Standard Time. I scheduled it. Just look at the thing I scheduled. Just look at the just literally look at the thing I scheduled, and you'll see it. Okay, so we're done with that. Okay, that worked. And now the lights are low. I gotta turn up the lights. Ugh. I should look normal now. Let me double check. Yep, I look normal again. Wonderful, wunderbar. Me and my stupid Mario shirt. Okay, so first off, let's go to Reddit. And we're gonna look up mute. Oh, random thing. I'm mostly asking because I would like some help from you guys. So this account, Manga Maguro, said Reiji Miyajime recommended a new window cleaner rom-com. Now, look, I don't mind. Like I don't care if Reiji recommended this. I would just like a source. So if anyone has a source for this, that'd be fantastic. I think this is real. But I would like an actual fucking source, because this account never gives sources. They just post things. They never give fucking sources, and they've been wrong before. They said there was going to be something coming up, some sort of announcement for Rent a Girlfriend, and it never fucking happened. So this account, I just don't like this stuff. And like, yeah, it seems like something Reiji would recommend based on the premise. But again, I would really like it if someone could find a source, if you know of any sources. If you don't, it's cool. I don't care. For now, let's get back to mute. 415. Nope. So we're gonna read his analysis of 415, just because we never read it when he initially wrote it. So we're gonna make this quick. 415. The reflections and thoughts. This time's theme is Kazuya's guilt and self-loathing. Kazuya is always grappling with self-loathing and guilt, but what exactly is the root of it? The comment, Kazuya is still a scumbag, huh, is actually a compliment to the author. Yeah, kinda. I mean, the fact that Reiji can write a character that a lot of people don't like and still keep them hooked is really impressive. And the fact that there are people who actually like and side with Kazuya, even the people who think he's a scumbag, especially when he was rejected by Chizuru. And I think this is very intentional by Reiji to show that double standard and hypocrisy. Reiji knows this, you know, he knows people have this like massive double standard and hypocrisy, whether it's the female characters or the male characters, you know, he absolutely fucking knows this shit. And like even like me, for instance, like I'm pretty defensive of Chizuru, but like for instance, right now she is making a few mistakes, you know. But I believe most of the blame does fall onto Kazuya at the moment, but Chizuru is making a few mistakes, mostly because like the reason I'm like not as critical of Chizuru as Kazuya at the moment is because I see her trying, and to me, trying is like the biggest thing. Like people don't put in an effort as you see with Kazuya putting in like a fictional effort and Minnie not even fucking trying, and Ruka is like lost in the sauce, and Mami literally fucking doesn't do anything, and Sumi is literally off in her own La La Land. Which, by the way, I read a post from a Japanese user that like reminded me of something. I totally forgot a massive... So this like solidified my guess about Sumi. This like solidified my guess about Sumi. I forgot why she did the rental girlfriend job. Who remembers why Sumi did the rental girlfriend job? No, seriously, who remembers her reasoning for doing the rental girlfriend job? She wanted to self-improve. She literally did it because she wanted to self-improve. And now Kazuya is literally working on self-improvement and going to the one person who picked this job to self-improve. Oh, the Sumi thing is gonna fucking explode. Oh my god, no. Literally, this shit's gonna blow up. Like I really think like the Sumi thing is like when this is all gonna like explode and shit's gonna hit the fucking fan. Now it suddenly makes a lot of fucking sense. But anyways, so like that whole idea of like double standards and hypocrisy, like, yeah, for instance, like Chizuru is ultimately distancing herself and not talking to Kazuya. That is ultimately a choice she is making. However, we're not looking at the source of why that is even happening and how Chizuru in many ways is not fully in control of her own actions. She is and she isn't, just as Kazuya is and he isn't, right? Kazuya in many ways in this instance is not fully in control of his own actions for two reasons. One, he's victimizing himself, and two, he is a victim of other people. So it's a two thing. In that same sense, Chizuru, when it comes to Kazuya, is unable to forgive herself, which plays a huge part in her being unable to get into this relationship. However, another part of it definitely stems from Kazuya himself and how he's making her into a victim. So in some ways, Chizuru is kind of victimizing herself when it comes to her mom. However, the difference between Kazuya and Chizuru is that Chizuru is somewhat aware of the fact that she's kind of in this victim position and she doesn't want to be a burden on Kazuya. So that's kind of the difference. So Chizuru is making a mistake in her inability to forgive herself, and that directly mirrors Kazuya and his inability to forgive himself. Chizuru's inability to forgive herself stems a lot from Hawaiians, from her grandmother, and, of course, the biggest thing, her mom. So those are the three big things. Kazuya, in contrast, is unable to forgive himself for his feelings, for the emotions that he has. Both of them are their feelings. That inherently stops them from getting into a relationship. It's a broken foundation. But they play a part in these things. They inherently play a part in each other's things for that reason. So Chizuru knows Kazuya has these feelings, but never discusses them with him. You know, probably because she's afraid to, but because she's afraid of herself too. In contrast, Kazuya never notices the sheer fucking weight she's carrying solo. And nobody seems to want to address that. All the blame is like directed at Chizuru, and I think that's why the story is being leveraged as it is. Because the blame is solely directed at Chizuru, you're so busy seeing what's wrong with Chizuru and not what Kazuya is doing wrong with Chizuru. And that's why the structure is as it is. Okay? So first, it's Kazuya needing to address what the heck is wrong with him. And then, in turn, it could help Chizuru start to learn to address what the heck is wrong with her. And that's, I think, how you move forward. That's how you build a relationship, is that you have to self-reflect. And Chizuru is self-reflecting, but she can't fully do it naturally because she doesn't have any support. This directly mirrors Mami, who literally has fucking nobody. Mami wants to change and has no idea how. Because she has, like, a horrible family circumstances. And she literally doesn't know how to reach out to people. She's had a horrible family life growing up. She has no idea how to fucking reach out to people. What the fuck's she supposed to do? She's literally screwed over by society in a sense. Right? Mami is literally a tragic character screwed over by society. A lot of her feelings and emotions stem from those things. She's both a shitty person and not a shitty person at all. Just a tragic character. The same can be applied to Ruka. So many people villainize the shit out of Ruka, and yet on one hand, yeah, what Ruka did is terrible, and on the other hand, she's also a kid. And Kazuya is the adult. The list goes on and on. Anyways, let's continue reading this. Here, Kazuya is wearing a swimwear, and Chizuru is dressed in the same outfit from the first episode. For Kazuya, Chizuru represents the pure and refined image from the first meeting, while for him, she seems to embody the image of Hawaii. Kazuya was lying at Hawaiians. The swimsuit appearance likely symbolizes his dishonest self, the one who lies and keeps secrets. I disagree. So what he's referring to is... No. I think he's misinterpreted this. Not quite. Kazuya's clothes in Hawaiians, Kazuya's swimsuit in Hawaiians represents his vulnerability. He is incredibly vulnerable in Hawaiians. And how that and so what's happening here is literally him being vulnerable to Chizuru. This is him wanting to open up to Chizuru. He wants to be vulnerable to her. That's what that represents. Right? The whole idea is that in Hawaiians, all the characters are vulnerable and their vulnerability is being used and attacked. Right? Chizuru is literally wearing a swimsuit. She's incredibly vulnerable. She's not only physically vulnerable, she's emotionally vulnerable. And Mami abuses that. And then Kazuya's family literally turns on him. So here, what Reiji ironically shows you in this visual image is a power balance, is a power dynamic. Even in Kazuya's dream, it's unhealthy. In Kazuya's dream, Chizuru is fully dressed, the car is there, but Kazuya is in swimwear. Even in Kazuya's dream, they're not equals. There's a power dynamic. But what's the dream telling Kazuya? He wants to be vulnerable with her. That's what the dream is conveying. So no, this isn't Kazuya lying. Even when Kazuya lies, he's being incredibly vulnerable. Kazuya lied in Hawaiians. But he was incredibly vulnerable when he did this. He's on the floor. He's crying. So it does not represent the Kazuya that's lying. This does. This is the Kazuya who's lying to himself. This Kazuya, this is the real Kazuya underneath. This is the real Kazuya underneath it all. This is the Kazuya who's lying to himself. And the mask is literally starting to shatter. That's what Reiji is telling you. He's kind of like making a question which is which, in some ways. Oh yeah, I forgot. We're not going to use. Oh my God, where's the deep L translations? Whatever, do it the hard way. You gonna translate, bub? Oh my God. The mob's comment, "That guy can't drive," likely refers to his driving aptitude. Kazuya, who sleeps so deeply in the waiting room that he dreams and then wakes up screaming, looks like nothing more than a dangerous person who is emotionally unstable and prone to panic. And that judgment stops them from helping him. They're literally trapped in their own simulation, unable to see this person because they're so busy judging him. Yeah, maybe he shouldn't be driving, but you should, like, talk to him and help him. But no, they're too busy judging him and talking about him right next to him. Sumi-chan's bunny outfit is partly fan service, but it also seems to serve as a source of comfort for Kazuya, who's going through a tough time mentally. I think it's meant to represent desire, but also this idea of simulations and how Sumi is literally not here and you're experiencing her secondhand. But that's just my interpretation. Here, Kazuya's strong feelings of guilt and self-loathing are depicted. His depression, thinking there's nothing more painful than hating yourself, reminds him of Chizuru's words. And it seems as though he is empathizing with Chizuru's feelings. He's literally starting to learn. He's learning. He's starting to understand. What? Translate full page. Okay, that works. Mommy's line, "You're not lonely, are you?" deliberately leaves the subject ambiguous. It can be interpreted as condescending. You won't be lonely because I'm going along with it, Kazuya, right? And I think those words are intentionally supposed to mirror Chizuru. Remember what Chizuru first said in the very beginning of the series? If you ever feel like a lonely bunny, just like a lonely bunny in a cage, feel free to call me. Here's Mommy seemingly echoing those words. You know? And I do think it's important to have Mommy mirroring Chizuru in some ways to help Kazuya learn to humanize Chizuru. That she absolutely makes mistakes and she's not deliberately causing these mistakes. You know, I think so many people think she's like deliberately doing these things when she's fucking not. And she blatantly told us in chapter 413, 414 with Minnie. You know, she's like literally saying like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Whereas Minnie is just like, she knows exactly what she's doing. And she's just like, I'm literally lost and confused. Help. I'm lost and confused. Help. This boy needs some help. Right? And I think Kazuya realizing how Mommy is fucking up and how he's fucking up and how he's feeling certain things just as Chizuru felt certain things might really help him start to realize this stuff. You know, like, oh, she can fuck up too. She's not a perfect person. She makes mistakes, and that will help him interact with her again because he's seemingly forgotten about that. Remember that thing we were just talking about with that video earlier? The biggest enemy of trauma is reality. So Kazuya accepting the reality that Chizuru is not some perfect person must in turn accept the reality that what happened with Chizuru was not her rejecting him, nor was it outright his fault. And it was something else going on, but then he also must realize what is his fault. That his victimization of himself. Right? That, I think, is really important. Chizuru realized her own victimization that she was doing to herself in Hawaiians. That because she was letting other people control her in her own guilt, these things were happening. But then it ultimately did become those things where they're literally abusing her goodwill, right? Mommy was literally abusing Chizuru's feelings, right? In turn, now Kazuya is, but from a place of love. So it's like this twisted thing where Reishi's exploring this like victimization people go through, where they victimize themselves, but like in particular, he's focusing a lot more on how Kazuya victimizes himself, because it reflects how a lot of men victimize themselves. With Chizuru, it's a little bit different. With Chizuru, it's less so victimization and more so her need to do the right thing. You could maybe say Chizuru is unversed, but in a different way than you would understand. Chizuru is an adult in adult things, but and she's responsible for because for her responsibilities and the things she has to do. But she's maybe a little unversed when it comes to like what the heck is going on with Kazuya and the complex emotions, because she doesn't know what the heck he wants and she doesn't know how to communicate with that, and she's never had to deal with a situation where she's like in this position of guilt and she wants to atone but doesn't know how. And now in many ways, Chizuru is learning exactly what Kazuya felt like at the beginning of the series, where he was trapped in this like endless guilt, where he's just forever trapped in this endless guilt and didn't know how to free himself. And she was trying to help him but didn't understand. So in some ways, she's learning why he couldn't confess at the very beginning of the series, why it's so difficult for him. In that same way, Kazuya is learning what Chizuru went through when she was in his position, where she was taking care of him, and she was very careful about what she said and what she did because he was very vulnerable. He's not being very careful about what he's saying and what he's doing because he's not considering how vulnerable she is, because she's always been the unstoppable, invincible girl to him. Anyways, yeah, okay. However, Kazuya interprets this as mommy is lonely without me and indulges in erotic fantasies. This convenient interpretation stems from the strong feelings of guilt and self-loathing Kazuya felt regarding his relationship with Ruka. It appears he is using mommy to boost his self-esteem in order to counteract his guilt. Ooh, that's a good analysis. That's a good one. I like that. Okay. Kazuya is aware of this and reflects on it, saying, "This is my problem." But no. So he misinterprets it. He misinterprets it as he goes back to self-loathing, and he misinterprets it as his desire. When he says this is my problem, he solely directs that towards his desires, his lust, rather than addressing the real fucking issue. There's nothing wrong with feeling this lust, because if he feels lust, he must not be in love. That's the problem. Every time he feels lust, he must not be in love. Because everyone always says there's a difference between lust and love. Okay? But readers tend to criticize him, saying isn't he devoted to Chizuru? Kazuya is troubled by the gap between his ideal of becoming a man worthy of Chizuru and the reality of his pathetic self. The section depicts Kazuya's poor crisis management skills and his tendency to shift blame. It's common knowledge that driving school simulators are designed to include accidents, but Kazuya starts using it without any particular caution, saying it's like a game. This is similar to how he easily let Ruka into his home. It's quite common for a child to smile and jump out from behind a truck without any hesitation, to shift the blame by saying things like "it's impossible" or "where are the parents?" in an attempt to convince yourself that it's not my fault, it's an unfair situation. Oh, that's so good. That's so good. This is literally what drivers do. This is literally what you do when you cause an accident. You shift blame. No, where were the parents? Why were they on here? You can't see yourself in the picture. Just like Kazuya can't see himself in the picture. Just as the observers, the mob, who are looking at Kazuya and judging him, don't see themselves in the picture. The role they're literally playing in criticizing him and making him feel worse for feeling this way. Just as mommy doesn't see herself and how she plays a part in why Kazuya is feeling the way that he does, why he might feel lonely, why he might even have these dreams in the first place. You literally shift blame. This good fucking analysis. Let's see. This is similar to your feeling of not wanting to blame yourself for what happened with Ruka, believing it's not my fault. It is in part his fault, right? On one hand, yeah, the parents were negligent. They let's from just the driving car perspective. Yes, there is a negligence of the parents leaving their kid to run off and jump out into the fucking street. Absolutely, there is some fault to play in that. But two, you're the driver. Ayo, it's both people's fault. It's not the child's fault, right? It is not the child's fault, but it is on you. You're in the fucking driving seat, dude. Just as with Ruka, it's your house. With Ruka, bro, it's your fucking house. You're in control. When you were living with Chizuru, you were able to tell her no. You came up with a different excuse. So why can't you do that in your own home? Right? It's literally about autonomy. The truth was, Kazuya let Ruka into his house, period. He had a pattern for this in the past. He still fucking did it. He wasn't thinking straight. nor did he want to think straight. Right? And then he gives an excuse. It's impossible. This doesn't fucking happen. Right? No. Kazuya, unfortunately, truly did have a responsibility with Ruka. He was sexually assaulted because he let her into the house, knowing full well she had feelings for him. This was on his birthday, and his last birthday she kissed him, and the last time he let her into his fucking house, she fucking, like, mounted his ass and started kissing him without consent. What the fuck did you think was gonna happen? And no, this is not victim blaming. There is a difference. This is not victim blaming. There is a difference. A victim doesn't know a person's gonna do this to them. Right? They're not like, they don't know these things. Whereas Kazuya had a pattern in reality. Now, Kazuya being unable to come to terms with his emotions and blaming himself, that's where you can start seeing where some of the victim blaming lies. Where this is exactly what Minnie does. Minnie blames him for being sexually assaulted. She doesn't know Ruka's done this in the past, and that Kazuya's autonomy was removed from the picture. Okay? That, I think, is really important, that Kazuya is losing his autonomy, because that inherently ties to trauma. With trauma, you seemingly have... How do I describe it? I know. Let me see if I can pull it up. I had a draft. I had a draft written. Drafts. Can I pull up my shit? Is there a way to pull up my drafts from my phone? How Twitter. How to pull up mobile drafts on PC. Finish it on your phone or use a workaround like sending it via direct message or saving a third-party app. Okay, let's try that.
Welcome. Today, PC version of the app after the latest update. If you've saved a few tweets or posts as drafts and can't seem to locate them anymore, don't worry. You're about the familiar compose box where you usually start writing new posts. You can also click notice a few icons and options. Now, here's the key step. Click on Drafts. Depending on your layout, it might be displayed right inside the compose box or appear as a small pop-up option near the bottom. Includes tweets you started to any draft to ready. Turn one into a post immediately.
First off, this person's like using like an AI voice, which, come on. Fuck me, I guess. Anyways, I'll post it later. But I basically wrote a thread talking about Resident Evil 9 and how so much of the game is literally around trauma, and Emily, the little girl in a box glass and literally in a glass case that's blind and has white hair and can't really do anything. That's kind of a perfect reflection of trauma. You're literally trapped in a glass box. You're blind. You can't walk. You can't really do anything. You can't see. You're visually impaired. That's literally what trauma feels like. You can't really process everything that's around you. You're incredibly vulnerable. You can't fucking do anything. I think that's incredibly central to Kazuya and him literally losing autonomy. He's powerless. He can't fucking do anything. And that loss of autonomy literally is central to getting your autonomy back. And that's something you can literally see with Grace when we were playing Resident Evil 9, where Grace's whole thing is literally she's kidnapped. They're trying to fucking experiment on her. They drain her blood without her consent. That she's constantly being hunted down by all these monsters. But that's not the thing that like really makes Grace start to live for herself. That's normal for her. One thing I noticed when we were playing the game is that there's a part where Grace is bitten and nothing fucking happens. Now, you could think of this as a writing oversight, or maybe she is special, or maybe something is different about her. I think thematically, the idea behind it is that she's already a zombie, technically speaking. And what I mean by that is like, when you're suffering through trauma, you're essentially like a living dead. So nothing happens to her. Now, there could be an explanation later in some sort of expansion, but there is a thematic idea to her literally being bit by a zombie and nothing fucking happens. Because she's already not really alive. So when she's interacting with all these things around her, all these other dead people, nothing happens. What really gets Grace out of her trauma, and when she truly starts actually living, is when she interacts with Emily. Because she has to care for this person who literally can't do anything. Who's a small, weak child. Who can't even fucking walk on her own. And that's where she starts to learn to live when she becomes a parent. What is Kazuya constantly having to deal with? Adult choices. What is Kazuya constantly being placed in certain positions? How does Chizuru literally appear when she's interacting with certain characters? She's like a kid. Kazuya will truly snap out of his trauma when he starts kind of trying to live by realizing other people need him to live. Because if he dies, they can't live. I think in some ways, that's when he can start kind of fighting for himself. And then he can have like that origin exploring moment. In some ways, what Grace undergoes in Resident Evil 9 is a traditional hero's journey, where she is taken away from home. She has to really confront herself. She has to learn how to live for herself. She has to confront and deal with death because Emily dies. And then afterwards, she has to come to terms with that. And then ultimately, she revives her and brings her back to life. A literal rebirth, if you will. So that's, I think, the structure of Resident Evil 9 can inform a lot about Rent-A-Girlfriend and Kazuya's journey, where he literally has to kind of learn to live for himself in some ways by living for other people. In some ways, kind of calling back to the Hawaiians arc, or not the Hawaiians arc, in some ways calling back to the movie arc, but not in the way that he did it, where it was this like fragile thing that it wasn't for him at all. No, he literally needs to live. Anywho, let's continue. It's quite common for a child to smile. Okay, yeah, where are this? Mommy's miniskirt is inappropriate for a driving school where the instructor sits next to the student, and some schools even prohibit it. I think she wears it because she's conscious of Kazuya, but Kazuya blames mommy. But Kazuya blames mommy for his own actions of looking at her legs, saying mommy's weird. What? Someone commented on that. Let's see what they said. I can't see the person. I must have muted them. Huh. That's weird. Let's read that. Does Kazuya do that? Damn it. What am I staring at? She looks... Kazuya doesn't blame her for the miniskirt. I'm starting to think Mommy-chan's acting a little too comfortable. He says that. Which in of itself is kind of like victim blaming. It's like, yeah, she can be comfortable, dude. Why the fuck are you like looking at her ass? Right? It's almost intentionally, like, in some ways, emotionally placing Kazuya in the position of an abuser, or like a predator, if you will, which is really fascinating because of where he ends up in the end of the chapter, considering what Ruka did to him. Now he's literally being placed in Ruka's position and has to realize the physical power he has over Mommy, and how his mind is kind of like has that how he has this conditioning in his head to look at her in this way, and he has to break out of that conditioning. I think, ooh, that's intentional. I think that's definitely intentional. That, like, okay, your perception is that what Mommy's wearing is inappropriate for a driving school. But fuck off. Why can't she wear what she wants? Why the hell are you just looking at her because she's defenseless and weak? Fuck you. She can wear what the hell she wants. Leave her alone. Mommy's defenseless appearance and weakness surprised reaction Kya stimulates Kazuya with her feminine side. But this too may be calculated move. No, it's not. No, it's not. It's not a calculated move. Absolutely not. She's actually a very vulnerable kid here. It's not a calculated move. However, it plays perfectly into Kazuya's perceptions. Perfectly. Here, Kazuya's excitement for Mommy makes readers think, isn't he devoted to Chizuru? What a loser. Which in a way is exactly what the author intended. This is a typical lucky pervert scenario found in romantic comedies. The fact that she was his ex-girlfriend, despite them having never been this close, makes you wonder what the definition of a girlfriend really is. Is the distance between these two accidental, or is it all part of Mommy's plan? It's accidental. I don't think it's intentional. If it is, I'll be surprised. I don't think it's completely intentional. She did want to get close to him, but not quite like this. She couldn't really do this, I think. Why don't we just stay like this? Is neither a request to stay like this, nor an agreement to let's just stay like this. If it were stay, it would sound like she's leaving it up to Kazuya, and Mommy's desires would be too obvious, making Kazuya wary. If it were let's just stay like this, the distance between Kazuya and Mommy would be too close, and Kazuya wouldn't agree. Oh, is there like a nuance in the Japanese where... Huh. Wait, is there like more nuance to her words in Japanese? Why don't you stay like... Wait, what? Wait, she said, why don't you stay like this? Is neither please stay like this a request, nor shall we stay like this an agreement? Wait, she says, why don't you? Wait. Now I gotta ask him. Huh. That's weird. Interesting. That's really weird. The phrase, why don't you come along here, has an experimental connotation, meaning don't overthink it. It just come along with the light heart. And I think it's a choice of words that would be difficult for Kazuya to refuse. If Kazuya accepts Mommy's offer here, it will create the fact that he stayed with her of his own free will. This will definitely increase Kazuya's guilt even further. Interesting. Okay, so we learned a few interesting stuff. This is why I wanted to read this. We learned a few interesting details here. This is exactly why I wanted to read this. What time is it? Oh my god, it's already 7:42. Is this person new? Yep, new membership. Oh, jeez. Why do I keep watching this show? I low-key hate it, but I like it. Isn't that literally the best kind of show? I'm serious. Isn't it really kind of the best kind of show where you feel you feel mixed emotions for the show? On one hand, yeah, there's parts of it you fucking love. On the other hand, there's parts of it you don't like. That to me is fucking art. That to me is art, dude. Like when there's something about an experience you might not fully appreciate, that means it wasn't fully made for you. And that's awesome. I love stories like that where there's parts of it that just aren't made for you. It was for the artist. They made it for themselves. And whether you can fully appreciate that is if you can truly immerse yourself in that art. There are some things that people like can perceive as like, you know, objectively bad. I think it's easier to look at objectively bad things in video games where for instance, if a video game doesn't fucking function, like, yeah, I guess that aspect of the video game can be considered objectively bad. It literally does not work as intended. It just doesn't work. But that doesn't mean the entire experience can be labeled as objectively bad because the nature of the experience is subjective. In that same way, when it comes to art, like, to your perception of when this was released, what it's talking about, what it's doing, it could be perceived as bad. Maybe the person doesn't know enough, but that in itself is what makes it art because you're getting it from that person's perspective and that experience. Even if you don't like it, you can learn more about that person's mind, I guess. Like, think of it like that. So, like, for instance, I'm not a huge fan of Last of Us, but in exploring Last of Us's writing, and who the director is and who the writers are and their backgrounds, the art becomes more interesting because now I'm kind of looking into those writers' minds a little bit. What were they thinking when they wrote this? Where was their mind when they were going through this stuff? That stuff is kind of interesting. That's how art can kind of like can evolve a little bit. In that same way, I think at the same time, there's another side to it that we don't look at where because we don't look at it from this lens, we don't see how amazing the art actually is. And this is one of those such cases where the inverse happens, that it's not from a lack of knowledge, it actually comes from our own lack of knowledge. I think that's where Rent a Girlfriend really excels as a story, because whereas usually it's about like the author's lack of knowledge and we just didn't know what they were thinking. Like when it's bad, I mean, like when it's like, okay, they're talking about a topic, but they clearly don't fucking understand it. But when you understand their mindset and what they were thinking when writing it, you're like, oh, that's really interesting. I kind of learned how these people think about these things from that perspective of a lack of knowledge. In contrast, Rent a Girlfriend is the flip, where our own lack of knowledge stops us from appreciating this story. And the more we learn, the more we can appreciate this story. Because suddenly we realize we don't understand things nearly as well as we think to do. Not just from a writing perspective, but like a world and philosophy's perspective. But that's just my stance. Okay. I'm going to look up 415, and I'm just going to read what Varicus wrote. Sorry. Where's the series discussion? There it is. I'm going to just read what Varicus wrote. If there's another interesting one on here you would like me to read, feel free to make me read it. But for now, I'm just going to read what Varicus wrote. This one has a little thing on it. Maybe I'll read it another time. Ugh, so much. Okay. So look, I only got 20 more minutes. I don't know if I can read all of Reddit right now. I only got like 20 more minutes. This is a fucking lot. Maybe I need to find another time to do this. Yeah, let's see if Mute responded. He saw it, but he has not responded yet. Okay, he saw it, but he hasn't responded yet. Yeah, I don't know if I want to read Reddit right now, because I only got like 20 more minutes left. Maybe like 13, actually. Again, I said this was to be a short stream, so... Let's see if there is anything else. I guess I'll schedule the stream for now. Oh yeah, I don't know if you guys heard about DLSS and how fucking stupid it is. Guess I'll post. Look at this shit. Look at the stupid DLSS crap. Fucking hate this thing. I know this isn't real. I know this is a fucking edit. I'll be streaming rather late tomorrow. Okay. Guess I'm deleting that. There we go. Okay, and then put the thumbnail. Okay. Ah, come on. There we go. Mute hasn't responded. Chat seems kind of quiet. I know it's kind of late right now in other places, so maybe that's why. Seems like Chizuru will sell the house. I remember again the cab driver story where he caught his ex on her apartment. Again, we don't know what that story means, not yet at least. And Wiz, you love to make assumptions. So I'm just going to see where that goes. If anything, we're seeing Kazuya with Chizuru, sorry, Kazuya with Mami a whole lot. We're not seeing Chizuru with Umi. So if anything, the story seems kind of flipped right now. I don't know what to tell you. And again, from the very beginning, the point of that story was literally that you're seeing it from... You're hearing it from someone else. That doesn't mean it's the truth. And you're shaping your own truth, your own lies, rather than what's actually going on. You're deluding yourself. The driver himself was literally deluding himself. She's like, oh, he was cheating. She was cheating on me when he was cheating on her. Right? He's just like, she was cheating on me. I'm like, yeah, you were cheating on her too. Clearly your relationship was garbage. The fuck you proud about? So, no, that entire story is literally meant to be stupid and bogus. It's literally some other dude's interpretation of this girl that is not accurate to the reality. He deluded himself, which is meant to mirror Kazuya and how he's literally deluding himself. And clearly it's something that person still remembers, which I think is really important that like they're saying that. In the volume release, when they released the volume of that chapter, the words were literally leaking out of the text, which I found really fascinating. Like the words were literally bigger than the text bubble. So like you had the text bubble and the words were literally bigger than the text bubble. And I feel like that's an intentional change to show how like these words are just literally flying over Kazuya's head. And how he's literally lost in the sauce. He's literally not paying attention to the reality around him. He's so lost in these feelings and emotions that he's not hearing everything else. In some ways, that's kind of Kazuya's truth. That he needs to confront and look at the internal and stop listening to the external. That is what Reiji was kind of building to. That is the arc begins as it was going to end. The Kazuya starts listening to the external and starts paying attention to the internal. But how his internal is in many ways controlling him because he's lost in the sauce. There's a lot of layers to that entire segment that I think people are just kind of missing because the story is so woo. And then when it's gonna happen how they imagined it, you know, the deluded bullshit that they believe in themselves, just like Kazuya does. They're like, oh my god, see, I was right all along. It's NTR. Man, I can't wait for chapter 218 to get fucking animated. That shit's gonna be hilarious. People are just gonna be like, oh my god, it's the worst thing ever. And then they don't know shit. What? Michael B. Jordan talks about Fate Stay Night after winning an Oscar. That's awesome. That's fucking awesome, dude. That's sick. Hell yeah, I fucking love Fate. Wait, that's me. Wait, that's me. Whoops. What's going on? Whoa, fuck no. Availability and game developer support. DLSS 5 will be supported by the industry's biggest publishers and game developers, including Bethesda. Shocking, Bethesda's the fucking worst. Capcom? Bro, I'm so fucking disappointed in Capcom. Fuck off. Howda Studio, I have no idea what that is. NetEase, NSoft, S-Game, Ubisoft. Ubisoft being good. And then Warner Brothers games, it's Warner Brothers. I'm just disappointed in Capcom out of everybody. Out of everybody here, I'm disappointed in Capcom. Bro. Capcom, what the fuck, man? That explains why when it was shown, we saw this AI slop. That explains why they showed Resident Evil 9 from the fucking beginning. That explains it. Anywho, yeah, I think I might call it here. So 5 more minutes and I'm calling it. Then I got to get ready for bed. Tomorrow's stream's probably going to be a little longer, so that's nice. Okay. Well, okay. Why is the stream for tomorrow scheduled at 1 p.m.? So I told you guys earlier multiple times in different streams, I have work tomorrow and I don't get off work until 12. So I can't stream until I get home. Generally speaking, just so you know, I request the day off. It is the only day I cannot work. I request Tuesday off. I told them, like, I can work Wednesdays, I can work Mondays, I don't fucking care. I just need Tuesdays off. Something is going on and they need me in. And no one else can cover it, conveniently. No one else can cover it. We lost some people at work and stuff, so it's like I can't really blame the work too much. So it kind of sucks. But that's pretty much the reason. There's no 8 a.m. stream tomorrow. Sorry, fellas. There's no 8 a.m. stream tomorrow. I believe Wednesday's also going to be weird. I'm going to stream early Wednesday because I think I have I think I have to close. Again, my schedule is kind of fucked this week. So tomorrow I have to open, and then Wednesday I have to close. So that's already going to be weird. So I think Wednesday morning I'm gonna stream, just so I have some time to do some stream before I go to work. But that's something I'll worry about after tomorrow. But yeah, sorry about that. That's an unfortunate turn of events. I was not expecting either. I tried to see if we could do something about it. There isn't. I kind of just need to be in, so I'm gonna be in. It is what it is. I don't like it, but that's what we got. And just so you know, I'm not going to read the chapter beforehand. I'm going completely blank. I'm just staying off the internet. I'm going to watch One Piece at work. That's what I'm going to do. I'm watching live action One Piece at work. You know, I'm just going to put that to the side so and then the moment I open up, I'm closing all notifications. The moment I'm up, I'm just closing all notifications. I'm not checking anything. If you guys want to talk on Discord or anything, feel free. I'm just not going to say anything. I'm just gonna just scrolling through it. Sorry about that. Once I I've read the chapter, then I'll read everything. But hey, on the upside, that should be kind of different. Because what's gonna happen is that people had time to marinate and write all their thoughts. So there's gonna be a lot of thoughts over there. You know, by the time we actually stream, there's gonna be a lot of thoughts, and we're gonna be able to get through a lot of different things. So that's gonna be really interesting. So it's going to be a different stream tomorrow. And it's going to be a little longer, too. I'll probably stream, a little longer. Anywho, I think I'll call it for today. Y'all have a good night. I'll see you tomorrow at 12:30 to 1. Somewhere around there. 12:30 to 1. Somewhere around there. Again, sorry for the late streams lately. It's just been kind of hectic. And I just haven't been sleeping well, and it's been kind of all over the place. So hopefully, once this shit calms down a little bit, we could get back to the usual schedule. And heck, I kind of want to do more. I've kind of been seeing if I can focus a little more on actually creating content and making more money off YouTube by making actual videos. But that's a topic for another time. Anywho, thank you guys for checking it out, and see you tomorrow. Have a good day or